G'day dear friends, hello, this is Chrissy from Xrissart. We are back to my coloured pencil project, and I always come back, go away, come back, go away, come back, because I did have it in my head that this was going to be a very long project. So I'm back at it, and thank you, Cherry, for popping in. Hope you have a really nice wedding reception, but thank you for saying hello. Thank you for saying hello. All right, so I'm going to keep on going with my coloured pencil project, and I had a few things in my mind. Oh, g'day Sneaks! Hello there. How are you? Nice to see you there. I thought I would continue with what I'm doing, and it's really interesting because because of how long this coloured pencil project is. Hang on, I'm just going to keep on working while we're talking, and I'll talk about all my for those who are just discovering me, or just happen to be, I don't know, surfing the internet and you saw the red light on and you just wanted to pop in and say hello and wondering what I was doing. I'll explain it all. What I wanted to say just left my head. Jeez. Something wrong with me. I think I need another cup of coffee, to get things going. Yes, no, so if we're talking about this colour pencil project, and because as you may know, I do mainly pastels, pastel pencils, and I do dabble in watercolour. I do dabble in oil. I was an oil painter first, but I love coloured pencils. So, oh, g'day Karen. I'm so glad I got to see a live stream. I love your work. Oh, Karen, thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say that. All right, so I'll just talk about what I'm doing here, and I have, that's right, I have a couple of questions to the group, and I just wanted to ask. I'll just wait for a few more to come in because it's a bit of a conversation, and I'm not, and I'm always interested to see how you, when you're approaching an artwork, how do you do it? Do you know what I mean? Like, from the idea, and then how do you start your project? What is your process? What is your thinking? But before I do that, I'll just tell you what I'm using here. The paper that I'm using is Stonehenge. It is not the one with the pad. Obviously you can see that it's not, because the Stonehenge paper are a smaller size. So what we're talking, so the paper is Stonehenge, and the coloured pencils that I'm using, or the coloured pencils of my choice, are the Derwent Lightfast, the Luminance, the Polychromos, the Faber-Castell Polychromos, and I do have the Pablos as well. This is a container that I have selected for the coloured pencils. Now it is a lot. Yes, it is a lot, but yeah, they're all the colours that I see, and I do add to them, of course. So, and I've got my this drawer is the project that I'm currently doing. So I know I just grab this, what can I say, this drawer, because I've got a hole here, or this little container here, and this container is like a set of drawers, right? So I just pull this out, and because I work with a couple of projects at the same time, this is a very useful tool for me. So, and again, this goes back to how we all work. If you're going to ask me what's this surface like, this surface is brilliant. I am going very gentle here at the moment, and all I'm trying to do here is just outline where where these colours are going to be. So this is what I'm doing here, and then I start to go in, put a bit more pressure, make things a little bit more lighter, stuff like that. And I tell you what, my go-to pencil, and every artist is different, so I appreciate that. My go-to is the Derwent Lightfast. I seriously think that they've done it brilliantly this time, and I tell you what, the Derwent Lightfast is an absolute top of the line competitor when it comes to coloured pencils. That's in my opinion, when it comes to Faber-Castell and the Luminance. But then, you know, then it all comes down to resources, you know. How can I afford this really nice pencil, whichever one? And luckily these pencils can be purchased open stock, so you don't have to buy a set. You can just, if you've got a project and you wanted to just buy a few, well then you can, you know. In my opinion, I think it's always best to, and even if you're starting, I don't know how many times I've heard, oh look, I won't start on good paper, oh look, I won't start on my good pencils. But that's exactly what you should do, is start on your good pencils, start on a good surface. There's so many beautiful papers out there. You know, it all comes down to whatever works for you. Where are your needed erasers? Very good question. I tell you what, there is one here. And there is another one here. I have one where it's, you know, 12 o'clock, my eye view, and one that I know that it's going to get lost here. So that's the backup plan. It's so funny. That's where they're hiding. Here oh, hang on, there we go. It's right there. So you can see it and tell me where my needed erasers are. So I've always got a piece of paper so I can, you know, test and see how I've got this tape. There's a reason why I've got this tape, is because, again, because I work, I have, like, you know, things on the go, and this is taped to a foam core board with a bit of paper, and I just have them sitting up on my easel or sitting up somewhere, and the paper that I'm using is always stuck onto the board. So, you know, I am organised as far as that's concerned, and it's only because at times, you know, I've got my Patreon channel and I've got projects there going on the go. So, you know, so I've got to be organised. So this is how I do it. Yeah, that's right. I think you should name them like the pups. I know. Well, I can't I? Yeah, Athena and Artemis. Yeah. Oh, I've got to be careful because I'll probably come when I call, when they hear my name. When they hear their name. Sorry. Yeah. 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 The pups are going really, really well. I'm so pleased with how they're going. So. Yes. Speaking of them, okay, I've got a few things that I wanted to talk about. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is, and I'd be interested to see what your take is, when you start an artwork, whether it be, whatever medium, watercolor, I don't know, whichever one that you go with. What I wanted to find out is, how do you, and it could be even digital, because I know Deb, that you do a lot of digital art as well, and it's the same thing as well. How do you approach your artwork? In other words, for example, once you've put your, say for example, you've drawn your your artwork down, well, you drawed your project down, do you work from left to right? Do you, and you'll see exactly by just looking at this how I've attacked this one, do you hone in straight onto the feature of the painting? What else can I say? Things like that. And I'll tell you what happened with this one. Because I attack projects differently depending on what it is. This one very much is where I've attacked the feature. There are two features. If you have a look at the reference photo up on the top left-hand corner, you will see the reference. This is something that I've put together. There's a few images there put together. The two main features of this, and you could say maybe a third, but I'll say two major ones, is the mad scientist, his face, definitely his face, and the skull. The skull I'm going to do last, okay? What I wanted, and the reason why I've done the mad scientist face first, or this particular feature first, is because I wanted to make sure that I got the features correct. So, and I knew that, because that was the one that was, that is the main, that was my main thought, is to make sure that I had his face. You know, like doing teeth, the nose, the eyes, making sure that I got the values right. The rest of the painting in my eyes would flow after that. I would have no hesitation in just then almost going, not blind, but you know, I would be a bit more relaxed. I was extremely focused on his face. As you can see, the eyes, the way the lips are, the forehead, the hairline, all of those sorts of things were important to me. Oh, g'day Janice, hello. Hello, g'day Abigail. Hi there everyone. I hope your father is feeling better. Thank you so much, Abigail, for that. Look, it's thank you. It's a long journey as you know, it's with my dad, but it's also with my mum as well, because my mum's got dementia, and she relies heavily on my dad, who is her major carer. So yes, it's you know, it's a long road. It's a long road. But thank you so much for asking. I'm trying to get some kind of normality in my life at the moment. They are taking quite a bit of my attention, and rightly so. They're my parents. I love them very much. So everything else at the moment is just, I just got to, you know, well, it goes, you know, in the back seat. Vivian, hello. Nice to see you. Okay. Answer. Thanks, Deb. I always do eyes first. Yes. And isn't it interesting how, you know, once you get and of course I do the eyes first too. That's exactly what I did. I started off with the eyes, especially with this. Yes. So, but once you do the eye first, like, what is your feeling? Do you feel that everything else after that is okay? Do you know what I mean? Like, once you do the eyes first. Okay, and Janice, yeah, I do the eyes first as well. Yeah, I just feel that if I don't do, especially like in portraits, I'm the same. If I don't do the eyes first, I'm lost. Do you know what I mean? And I know how some artists, they do everything else and then do the eye last. I don't know how they do that. It's a brain thing. I reckon it's a brain thing. Definitely. So you do the eyes first. Yeah. So as you can see, like everything else, like even the hand, which is probably would be about the hardest for me, I think I've done enough hands now that I feel okay with. Do you know what I mean? But still, you know, I haven't touched that, as you can see, and it's probably, this is the hand part, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to leave that when I'm good and ready, I think, isn't it? So that's why you'll see this coloured pencil piece, you know, where I haven't sort of started from there. I've just started in the bits where I wanted to make sure that I got right. Yeah. Okay, so, well, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting to know. And another question is, and I know that I talk about it a lot, so if you're starting in a new medium, would you, and say you didn't have a art supply of a new medium, say you wanted to take up watercolor for the first time, would you get a set, or would you get a handful of pans and a good paper first, or even if it's one sheet, like one sheet, would you do that first? Do you see what I mean? Yeah. If the eyes are right, I can go on. True. Same here. If I drew everything first, then messed up the eyes, I would be frustrated. That is exactly my point. Yeah, I would get so pooey with myself, and then I would just, you know, I wouldn't want to go much further if my eyes weren't correct, in my portraits, that is. Okay, but just say you didn't have, okay, just say you weren't doing portraits or eyes, and you did, and there was a whole heap, there was something like this. Yeah. Would you go to the most, the feature first, or would you go around the feature? Yeah. Yeah. It's too bright. Dark cyan, hang on. It could even be this. Yes, it could be this color. Sorry, I'm just having a look at this color. Hi, Nuria. Hello. Hello. Nice to see you. Yeah, I just want to sharpen this pencil. Hang on a sec. And I've got another question for you. Oh, no way. Look what I'm trying to do. See, don't you just hate this? I forgot. There's probably I love this pencil sharpener, but I'm thinking why is sometimes, I don't know if you've had to do this, but if you're playing with coloured pencils and your rotary thing, there could be like, it feels like there was something stuck, but maybe not. I don't know. It feels like it is, so here we go. And mind you, this sharpener I've dedicated to coloured pencil. That scratching that you hear, that's one of my dogs. I shouldn't have looked that up. That's one of my dogs who wants to come in, but you know what happens? If one comes in, then they start to wrestle and they make growling noises, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to have to... Oh my gosh. Come on, sit in. Oh, finally. Okay, I don't know why this is doing this. Maybe I should get a new sharpener. It's not working for me. Oh, it is. I'm just not patient enough. Okay. The feature first. Okay, Janice. Okay, yes, I'll start with the focal point. There you go. Interesting. And Jenna says, if it's too warm in your neck of the woods, think of me. Tonight will be -30 with a wind chill of... Oh my gosh. That is bloody freezing. That is bloody freezing. Well, Janice, you can keep your cold weather. I don't want it. No way. Jose. Oh gosh. Wow, that's cold. That is freezing. That is really cold. Okay. Deb says, I start with great paper with watercolors. The paper is the most important supply. Yes, it is. If anything, the surface, oh gosh, I agree 1,000,000,000% yes. It lives, okay, the paper is the most, it lives on my birthday, Mother's Day and Christmas Day, like perpetually. Oh, okay, all right, yes. Abigail says, I would buy a basic set if I wanted to try a new medium. Okay. Janice says, Chrissy, I like the cold, but that's even too much for me. Yes, I know you do. Oh my God, that is freezing. Snuggle up, baby. Put on some, I don't know, 3-4 pairs of bed socks and stay inside with jumpers and you name it. Oh, hang on. We call them jumpers. You call them sweaters. That's right. We call them jumpers. Okay, that is cold, yes. What happened to global warming? Give the cows some beans, please. Oh, yes. Oh, dear. That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, if I was trying a new medium, I would definitely get a handful of... maybe like, I don't know, 4 or 5, colours, and start. I always do that. I always end up getting like the primary colours, for example, first, but very soon after, as soon as I feel that I'm very happy with that, I end up getting the set, but, you know. Because now I want everything. After that, after I've tried it and I know that I will be able to work with it. I think that's the main thing. Okay, are those new rings? Oh yes, they are. Oh yes, you know me and my bling. Have to have my bling. Yeah. So that's interesting. Look, the reason why I say that is because I work in an art shop, as you know, and every person the customers that come in and that I talk to, sometimes it's really interesting how the questions that they ask. And that's exactly what they'll do. They'll go, oh, look, I saw a video. This is how they'll say it. They'll say, I saw a YouTube video and I wanted to try it out. And not sure, but because they're coming in to have a look at, say, for example, what art supplies that particular artist on YouTube is using. So what they'll do is they might purchase, say, the art supply, the actual material, like the pencil or whatever it is, but then they'll go, oh look, I've got some cheap paper at home, I'll practice on that, and that's when I say, because I don't want to get, say, for example, a pad of something, you know, because, you know, let's face it, you put the word art in front of anything and it's all expensive, okay? And that's like with women and beauty. You know, you put, you know, like beauty products and all of that. So it's the same with art, okay? If you put art, the word art in front of it, then it starts to cost a lot of money. So when I say that, so I always say, well, instead of getting a pad, why don't you get a sheet? You know, it might cost, say, I don't know, $10, $15, whatever it is. And then they could cut it up and test it out and practice on there. So I always encourage that. That's what I do, because I think, and then I try to explain to them why I think that would be a better idea, because I do tell them, I go, your experience won't be the same. You will get turned off very, very quickly. Yeah, very, very quickly. Okay, it's about 8 degrees here in the UK. Oh wow! Thank goodness. Thank goodness I'm not in the Northern Hemisphere. Although, with our winters, I get to complain too. You know, I complain when it's 14 degrees. This is degrees, not Fahrenheit, for me. So I don't know what 14 degrees is. I always not sure. Okay, you have you had anyone recognize you from YouTube at work? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. It was so funny. A funny story. Oh my gosh. There's a funny story with that one. I had someone who came in the shop. They wanted to purchase something. They were at the counter, and I was looking down, and and the customer was on the other side, of course, and I was doing something. Then I looked up to attend to the lady, to the customer, and she said to me, she goes, "Chrissy," and I went, "Yes." She goes, "My name is such and such." She goes, "I've seen you on YouTube." And I went, "Oh, yes, you may have." Oh, and it's happened a couple of times like that. You know, or someone's come in and said, they've come in and they'll come up to me because I've helped them, say, with pastel pencils or something, I remember. And she goes, "I've been watching you." And I went, "Have you?" And I felt on YouTube, and I went, "Oh." I go, "Has it been helpful?" I said, "Hopefully you've been looking at the videos." I go, "Because the lives are more of a chat, they're not more of a tutorial." So they've just been art chats and us hanging out together. Some really don't understand that, but you know, we do get together at least once a week and talk about things. But yes, that's a very good question. That has happened. Okay, think it's about normal. Colder at night, of course, for Cherry, yeah. I like buying a Mercedes and then deciding to try driving it in the fields. Yeah, I know. That's so funny. Do you ever go, honestly, the way you say things? So funny. Deb says, "I buy larger sheets of a paper, cut them into smaller sheets to save money. I do use less expensive paper to play around with in notebooks. Stroke practice, yes." Yeah, I know. I understand. I think so long as it's not like really nasty stuff, you know, I think, but see, what you want is something that's going to help you get an idea of what the medium is. I think that's the, yeah. Yes. But the cheaper paper really does work differently. Oh, look, I totally get that. Yes. Totally. Yeah. But aren't the sheets and the packages usually a different quality? Well, in I tell you what, in this case, with the Stonehenge, yes. The arch are the same, whether you get a pad or whether you get a sheet is the same. I have found, because I've had both. What else? I don't know about the Fabriano Artistico paper. Sorry, I just want to have a drink of water. I don't know about that. I haven't used the Fabriano Artistico paper too much. I've used it. You know, I haven't needed, but I've used other papers other than those ones that we always talk about. Because I always, I always like to try different things. And my fear is that I'm going to not get enough, that the manufacturer is not going to make that paper anymore. I get into that, and then that's when I start stocking up on paper, and I end up having too much paper, only because of the fear of that they're going to stop making it. Well, they do things like that from time to time. But not with ash water. That's exactly right. Yeah, Sneaks, totally agree. Yeah, not with ash. I found it's always been the same, pad or sheet. So I've got another question for you. I've got another question for you, or not another question. And I think this happens a lot with the paints, more the paints. It doesn't happen so much with a coloured pencil. I'm not quite sure why, but it has happened to me with paints. For example, say you're working with watercolor, and you've got a favorite pigment, or a favorite pigment, or a favorite, say, blue that you use all the time. Then all of a sudden, the company discontinues that color. Well, because I work on the other side of it as well, what happens is that sometimes the manufacturers can't get a hold of a particular pigment, so they're forced to discontinue it, or it may be that it's too expensive and they may want to keep the price the same, so then they end up having to choose like another pigment and then introduce another color. I have now understood why sometimes a paint gets discontinued. It could be oils, it could be acrylics, it could be watercolor, it could be anything, So I do appreciate that. So you can imagine the manufacturer who is trying to assist the consumer and having the consumer have a really nice experience with their products, but then they discontinue a product. So what I'm trying to say is that don't get disheartened and get upset. It's because they can't get a particular pigment. So I don't know, if you get a favorite color and you're a bit worried, sometimes I would get a couple just in case they they decide to get another pigment. But you know what happens what also happens is that when they try to replace that particular colour, they introduce it with something really, really nice. Or they sometimes they'll try to get something equally, but if not better. Do you know? So, you know, don't lose heart, don't lose faith. The manufacturers are always trying to satisfy the customer. Obviously, they want to sell their products. They're not doing it just to, you know, give us a hard time, or it's not all for them. I mean, if we the artists are not happy with the product, we're just not going to buy it. We're just going to go somewhere else. So of course the manufacturer is going to try to do the best they possibly can to give you the quality that they've always managed to be able to, the quality that they've always been able to manage. G'day Paulo. And hiya chat. Yes, okay, absolutely. Janice says absolutely love Arsh hot press. It's so tough. Exactly, it really can take a beating. Exactly right. And it's not just that. It can even you say the hot press, but the cold press is exactly like that too. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. So it's whatever work. And so you can imagine the paper manufacturer trying to make sure that, you know, that they offer you the same paper for as long as they possibly can. Sometimes, and I know it happened with Fabriano, I think, many years ago, the extra white hot press, people were really, really happy, and then all of a sudden something happened. I think it was the manufacturer, I think, from memory, and they change things, you know what I mean? So, well, that's a different story there, but you know, it goes the same way. We are the consumers, we're the ones that, and then with the brushes, oh my gosh, the list goes on, doesn't it? Oh, okay, did you ask? Okay. When will Pan Pastel make a similar version of the pans? Ah, that's a very good question. Okay. Well, the other day, yes, Janice, there was a golden live chat. They did mention someone asked. Yes. I got up about, I don't know, about 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure that I didn't miss it. So, you know, so I didn't miss it. So yes, I did manage to get on the chat, and there were artists that were asking that question, Abigail. So I reckon they've noted it down. Some of the questions, because they were asking the viewers, what would they like to see? A lot of them said a smaller, maybe a travel set or something like that. Interesting. And some also said more colours. So, yeah, more colours. So, I think that look, I don't know. I'm only suspecting here. I think what will probably happen for a while, they will keep the status quo. I think what they'll do is I don't, you know, like I said, I don't know, but I'm suspecting. So, I mean, that's like in anything, when you purchase or take over anything, it could be in a business, particularly when there's a very good customer base. The last thing that you want to do is, you know, rock the boat and change the status quo. And if you wanted to change things, that you would do it gently. Do you know what I mean? And I believe that Golden would be like that. If they were ever going to be innovative and listen to the consumer, I think that they would take consideration as to, for example, So I was reading that and I was trying to say something at the same time. But yeah, I think that they would consider the consumer and try to do the best for us, us the users. Yeah. Now, you can see what colours, you can see what brands I'm using. And you can see how lovely they lay down. Yeah, of course, this is all very rough and grainy to begin with, but as I build, Stonehenge allows me to build with many layers. I'm actually quite pleased. Each of these pencils do lay down differently. I think what I like is that if I layer down first with the Derwent Lightfast, they're a much softer pencil than the Luminance when I'm comparing them on this surface. Okay, this is what my findings are. So what I've done is I've actually layered down the Arctic in the Derwent Lightfast, and this is the bit that I wanted sort of highlighted. As you can see in the reference photo, this is going to be my lightest bit, so I'm preserving that. Much like a watercolor painting, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm just building layers around, but I find that if I've layered down with the Derwent Lightfast, and I can easily come on top with either the Luminance or the Polys, you know, so very, very nice. I'm actually quite pleased how this is working for me. Okay. Deb says, I like using transparent single pigment watercolors. Yep. And buy the largest tubes I can afford. One of the nice things about watercolor is the tiniest bit goes a long ways. 1,000%, 1,000,000,000,000,000% agree with this totally. And that's how you can you build your palette, and especially like with single pigment transparent watercolors, you can build layers, couldn't you? And mixing and stuff like that. I think that's an excellent way to go. Yeah. Okay, you did on the FB post. Oh, okay, Abigail. Yep. This is for the golden. Yeah. The good thing with me with this, I can go dark, and I could use this, the kneaded eraser, to lift. So I'm actually just going just very carefully, and if I find that I've overdone it in a certain way, then I lift it with the kneaded eraser. Yes. Okay. Okay, Abigail. Janice says, okay, did they say it was a great question, so maybe they will look into it? You know what, Janice? All they were doing is they were just acknowledging all of the points. And Cherry says, yeah, I put the query on golden comments about the small pans. There you go. I wonder if they're going to do something. Wouldn't it be good? Or step in with a sink and say, let it sink in. Oh, okay, I missed, I don't know, I missed that one. Yeah. So that's, see, there you go, even like the polys on the top. And I'm mixing really, really well. All of these colours mix really, really well. See, I find the Luminance a bit more harder. I don't know. It's very hard to tell sometimes. I reckon they're close. These two are close. On here, that is. The way that I've done it with the Derwent underneath. But they mix really well. So you can imagine when you go to, like, for example, coloured pencils, you know, you could get a handful of this brand, just a handful of that brand, and a handful of that brand, and make your own sets. That's nice to do that. Yeah. Oh, and of course, this weekend I'm going to put some new inspirations for our Share Your Art with Xrissart. Just wanted to mention, Share Your Art with Xrissart is a Facebook group that our lovely friends here wanted me to put together, and that's how it all came about. So we can share all our work the way we talk about it on the live stream. So on the live stream, it's more or less just continuing the conversation. And what we do is on Share Your Art with Xrissart, we share lots of things. We share our own art. If you have a YouTube channel, if you have an Instagram channel, page, if you have something like that and you wanted to share with us, by all means. If you have a video where you've seen from somewhere else and you think that the group would benefit and be interested in, we can do that. Or even like your own current projects and what you've been up to. You know, the group is quite a bit relaxed and respectful, and what we do is you know, if we're generally nice to each other, the rules aren't terribly strict. The only thing that we don't really talk about is, you know, politics and not being too, you know, offensive and stuff like that. Other than that, you know, the group is actually quite a safe group. It's just like a bunch of friends just talking all the time, really. So, well, the description or the link is in the description box below. So, okay. Hi, Horsewoman. Has anyone used Canson Colorline paper for pencils? Ooh, Canson Colorline. What is that? That's not that XL, is it? The one... oh, thank you, Janice. Thank you so much. Okay. Cherry says, I'll have to watch the replay as I can't hear anything. The music is so loud. Okay. Everyone, Cherry is at a wedding reception. Can I just say that much? Oh, gosh. That's amazing. All right, Cherry. We'll talk to you again sometime. Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. You'll have to tell me what that is. What is that paper? Canson Colorline. Hang on. I'm going to write this one down because I'll have to figure out what that is. Colorline. Yeah. Canson Colorline. I've never heard of that paper. You know what? I have discovered, and I have talked about it on previous occasions, there's so much paper out there. You would need 10 lifetimes to cover all the paper for art there is. There is just so much out there. And the ones that get the most used are the ones that market themselves the best. Naturally, you know, you'll only buy what you hear of or what you see. So that's something. They're large. Okay, for coloured pencils, 300. Okay. Can you add a link to the Facebook page for sharing, please? There it is there. Can you add a link? Can you add a link to the Facebook page for sharing? How what do you... okay, sorry, Deb, I'm not quite sure. Do you mean are you, oh, okay, it is the link. Yeah, the link, if you can see up in the chat, Janice has put the link to the Facebook group. So is that what you mean? Is that what you mean? I'm so sorry. Is that what you mean? So as you can see here, I'm going really gently. I'm not really fussing with anything here at the moment. Look how I'm holding my pencil. Yeah. All I want at the moment is to just figure out where darks are, where lights are. It's really interesting, this colour, ocean blue dark. Oh, I like that. Yeah. And what are your favourite colours when it comes to, you know how sometimes like you gravitate, if you're going to do blues. I mean, I know that sometimes when a picture requires ultramarine blue, I'm not saying that, but are there colours that you gravitate to sometimes? I'm always, for example, when I'm using pan pastels and I want something neutralized or dark, I always use raw umber extra dark. See? And it's not even a bright colour, and of course I love colour, so yeah, the colour is yeah, not very colourful. Okay. The more you know, the more you realise you don't know. Oh, yes. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Exactly. Yeah. You know, classic example with this paper. I don't know whether I've heard of this paper, but yes. I've written it down, and I use the Canson drawing papers, or have used. Okay, the one in the description takes me to Chrissy's page, but only her work and announcements are there. Of course, I could be just the... Oh. Okay, so what about that link, Deb? The link that Janice has put in the chat. Can you click on that? Where does that take you? It should take you. Okay, if that is the case, then I'll check out the links. Yeah. I'll have a look. I'll check out the links. Okay. Okay. Abigail says, I fell in love with periwinkle. I only found its name this week. Wow. Yeah. Periwinkle. Hang on. Is that, what colour is that? Is that a blue? No. I don't know. What is it? Is it a blue? Oh. Ali, hello. Nice to see you. Hello. Did you get a chance to buy that Yin Tico Red Limited Edition colour? Oh, funny you should say that, Ali. I've seen that. No, I work in an art shop and I saw it. And yes, I will get it. It was interesting because that is a schminker. It is, isn't it? Oh no, sorry. There is a yin something in blue as well. Sorry, you're talking about the red. There's a blue with the schminker. watercolor. That is a limited edition as well. It's really interesting, isn't it? Please confirm that. I'm pretty sure. Hi, Jelena. Hello. Yes, there we go. Periwinkle. Purple, blue, or blue, purple. I like, yes. See? Yes. Yes, Schminker, now I do get to see some of the new products that are coming in that manufacturers make. And it's not like I need watercolor. I have got lots. I have. I've got lots, but you know, what's one more blue? You know, what's one more blue? Who's gonna notice? Actually, when we're talking about new products that are coming in, I have to, can I just tell you, oh my gosh, I wasn't going to because they're not available yet in our shop, but I wanted to try, and I know Abigail and probably Deb or all the watercolor people, this is a granulation medium by Renaissance. I haven't tried it yet. I'm actually quite lucky that my boss gives me these to try. For example, like the company would probably send samples and stuff like that. So I'm going to try that, and this is by Renaissance. So you can imagine each art company, all the mediums, all the paints, and this one is, check this out, and I don't know how it works, and I'm just going to play, right? This one is again by Renaissance, a transparent watercolor paste. Wow. And it says here, vehicle, natural Arabic gum, or gum Arabic as we like to call it. And it says here the opacity is transparent and the staining is transparent. No yellowing. So, look, I don't know. I'm going to try these out and report back, or who knows, I might do a live stream and try to figure out how all of these things work. But I know, Abigail, you're the one who's the medium expert. You're always trying things out, so I know that you would be able to report on this for sure. So okay, just thinking, can you use both wax and oil based colored pencils in one picture? Well, you know what, Jelena, this look, I know this is a very good question. To be honest, the Derwent Lightfast, and I think most coloured pencils have got wax and oil in them. I think what it is the thing that's most interesting with each one is that there might be more oil or more wax in some pencils. So if we're talking, if you're asking the question, just thinking, can you use both wax and oil based coloured pencils in one picture? My answer would be yes. This is what I've got here. I've been using the Polychromos, which tend to be more oil based. I believe that the Luminance are, they could be more wax, but maybe they might be in the middle. I'd say in the middle. Yeah. But I would say yes. Okay, just to let you all know, I got through the whole of January without buying any art supplies. Did you really? Did you really? But did someone buy things for you? See? Make sure. I'm making sure with the coloured, I'm making sure, sorry, with the wording. Yeah. But that's, you know what? Good for you. Were you hanging out? Did you buy something yesterday? That's the main thing. You're so funny, Jelena. Okay, gum Arabic in a tube. Drooling here. Yes. Look at that. So, and that's Renaissance. So they're, what are they? They're a Polish. They're Polish, these guys, as you know. See, look, made in Poland. So we have, you know, for example, just so happens I've got watercolors here, right? Watercolors, and so I'm going to be playing. Yeah, so I'm going to be playing with these at some point. I'm trying to find the time to do it. This is my point. I'm just trying to find the time. Okay. Where am I? Oh, yeah, here I am. Also, let me see. Ali says, Chrissy, will you save your $5, your Australian $5 note, as they are changing it now? Really? Oh, they've been changing a lot of our notes, but I didn't know about the $5. Oh, I don't know. It's a very good question. I probably would save a few. I would save a few. Yes. Yes. I didn't know that. How do you know that? Well, obviously you must read a lot. And I don't read enough, I think. A no-buy art supplies for month February now. Oh my gosh. Okay, well then, Jelena, then are you using the ones that you've got now? Okay. Sneak says, I just bought Winsor Newton Aqua Pasto to try and their granulating medium to play with. I also picked up their iridescent medium to add any colour to have endless shimmery colours. Yeah, see, this is the thing. I think, well, I think the purists would get upset with us for trying all of these mediums. Oh my gosh. Don't start me on that one. But yes. But definitely, I think this is so I mean, I know that the granulation mediums have been around. I do know that. But this interesting, they call it impasto. Yeah. So, transparent watercolor paste. I'm going to have to look on the internet how they use it, because I suspect it's something unusual. So I'm going to find out how people are using it, or maybe just go to the website and hopefully that they've got some information about that and work with that. That's interesting. I must have a look to see, because I know Winsor Newton makes so many mediums with all their different art supplies, like whether it be oil paint, you know, all of that. So I'm going to have a look at what's there. I'm going to have a look if we've got it in the shop. I'll have to find out. Okay. Jelena says, on the 31st of January, using Amazon gift vouchers, I bought a daylight lamp with is now clipped to the top of my easel. I guess this doesn't count as it wasn't my money. There you go. See, I know. See, this is what I mean, Jelena. But it's not really an art supply, is it? No. And it's not, it is a, well, it's just not art, is it? It's something that will help you paint. You know, if you need light, you need light. Absolutely. So no, you're lucky. Yeah, no, that still counts as not. Well, you know, when I experiment, you guys get to see all my misses and hits, but misses mostly when it comes to, because we're practicing, aren't we? We're trying to figure out something, what it does. I'm using the ones I've got, says Jelena. Okay. Oh, hi, Rob. Finally got hold of some Bristol vellum. Ooh. Might try this project on it, Chrissy. There was an art shop in Darwin. Oh, seriously? In Darwin? Well, now can I just warn you, Rob? Now this is, what is it? It looks like, I don't have my ruler with me. I can't remember what it is, but it's about, I think it's about 35 centimeters by about, I don't know, could be about, I don't know, 45, 50 centimeters, right? So, you know, you could do this perhaps maybe on a smaller sheet. If you're using coloured pencil, oh gosh, you can go really tiny, couldn't you? And because you can get some really fantastic details with coloured pencil. That's the thing. I don't think you could get the details like you would. Coloured pencil would have to be the ultimate for getting details on a project. Yes. This particular coloured pencil, Ocean Blue, and of course I'm layering with Derwent Lightfast first. And I'm getting some, just some lovely, lovely, lovely strokes. Yeah. And I'll be able to go, hang on, I need my kneaded eraser here, and I'll be able to go over with all of the other coloured pencils, the brands, no problem. Again, on this surface, this kneaded eraser is fantastic, and also this is the Faber-Castell one. It picks up without leaving any of the kneaded eraser on the surface. So I've tried the generals, wasn't happy with the generals, I must say, because it left residue and it went warm. It was, the room was hot, and it melted, but it was, yeah, the kneaded eraser was warm. This one, not so much. I like the Faber-Castell kneaded eraser. Rosemary, hello, nice to see you here. Okay. Abigail says, I need to know more about this. Oh, hang on. Yes, the granulation stuff. Yep, medium. Yes. Add it to my bucket list. It says, yes. Jelena says, this year I'm very motivated to take my art further. I want to post more on Instagram and maybe look into selling prints. Why not? Absolutely. Go for it. Well, you've got our support, so make sure whatever you do that you're posting on Share Your Art with Xrissart, because you know we're going to support you 1,000,000,000% here, so make sure you do that. However we do. We're behind you, Jelena. Absolutely. Ali says, Chrissy, have you tried moussaka? Yes, I have. I make it. I haven't, but I have seen that it has aubergines in it. Yes, in Australia, we call aubergines eggplant. You didn't know that, did you? Or did you? I don't like aubergines when they are cooked, as they have an awful texture. Well, in moussaka, it's different. For those who don't know what moussaka is a Greek dish. It is a layer of, in a tray, you put a layer of thinly cut potato, round potato. Then you can also then put, if you make mince, you know when, mince meat, right, cooked mince meat, you put layers of that, and you can put cheese on it, and then you would put eggplant on top. But then how eggplant is, it's pre-cooked, like it's either fried. I like to grill mine because I don't want it to be too oily, But yeah, some people would pan fry the eggplant, and you layer it like that, and you make a bechamel sauce with lots of cheese, and you bake it. And I tell you what, it is quite a heavy dish, actually, but it is delicious. Yeah, one good square piece will do you for sure. In fact, you're making me think that it's time to make it again. It's a bit time consuming, yeah, but if you ever go to a Greek restaurant, you must try it. Rob says, I don't have the patience for coloured pencils that big unless I did a watercolour underpainting. Well, I think I would really love to see it in watercolour, and then probably go in detail with coloured pencil just in certain bits. It would be interesting to see how you do it in watercolour. Oh, but on that Bristol surface, I don't think the Bristol vellum, oh look, you probably could, but I think with the Bristol vellum, the watercolour will just sit on top, I believe. Will it, maybe? Or maybe I'm thinking of the smooth. Yeah. You know what? I would try it and see what happens anyway. Oh, I would be really interested to see how you get on with that. Janice says, Chrissy, have you seen the golden... I'm going to try to pronounce this. The golden micaceous? Micaceous iron oxide. Now, how would you pronounce that? Am I pronouncing it right? It's so really. I'm going to have no. I don't know. I'm going to have a look, because I know that you like golden colours, and you find some really interesting ones. I would. You know what, Janice? I would love you to share all of those lovely crystal things that you've been doing. You should share that on Share Your Art with Xrissart. Janice has been playing, by the way, everyone. She's really good at experimenting, and oh, the things that she's been doing are really, really amazing. Okay, this is a good question. Rob is asking Abigail, how do you use the gum arabic with watercolour? Do you use it instead of water? Oh, look, I think Abigail could give us a huge lesson on that as well. Abigail is the major experimenting. Oh, and Janice. I think there's Janice who experiments as well. Our friend Silke experiments a lot. Abigail experiments a lot. I experiment too, but you girls just go above and beyond. You have some great things. Okay. Okay, Abigail says, no, Robin, I add a bit to the water I use to wet with my watercolour. That's interesting. So is it a bit? Is it a teaspoon? Is it a drop? Yeah. Rob says, we've come home from Northern Territory. NT, everyone, in Australia is Northern Territory. That's the middle, the north middle. Sorry, that's the Northern Territory is the middle of Australia, the upper part of Australia. Just letting you all know, to many eggplants, I need a moussaka recipe, Chrissy. It's all right, honey. I'll give you a recipe. I'll send it to you. Okay. Okay, well, the girls have been playing with a pencil-based recipes. Oh, okay, sorry. I will share now that life had settled down. Okay, cool. Has settled down. Yeah, Janice has done some wonderful things with crystals, glass crystals. Now, if you all remember, Janice had done some Christmas trees using crystals on canvas. Oh, some beautiful projects. Well, now she's been experimenting with other things, and poor Janice has been busy with so many things that hasn't been able to, but she'll be sharing, which is really good. I'm glad. Okay, Abigail says a drop of gum arabic on a spoon of watercolor, but you can decide how much you want to dilute it. A spoon of water. Oh, okay, a spoon of water and then a drop. Oh, okay. So that's giving us sort of like the recipe, isn't it? Or the ratio. Oh, wow. It's so good to have this part not white anymore. There we go. Okay, you don't need much. Oh, hang on, this is the Polychromos. I meant to use... Oh, doesn't matter. Oh, well, this will be interesting to see what happens underneath. Yes. See, all of these pencils work beautifully on here. Yeah, I just should have used the Derwent Lightfast on here. I forgot about that. I was just looking at the colour more than what it was. Well, it's only light anyway, so I should have been using... Where is it? I should have been using... Anyway, that doesn't matter. Here we go. Yes. Yeah, okay. Wendy, hello. Hello, have we seen... I don't think we've seen you here before. Thank you so much for popping in to say hello. And welcome to the chat, Wendy. Janice says, you've done quite a bit, Chrissy. I did miss some lives, though, so maybe it's more apparent because of that. It looks great. Oh, thank you so much, Janice. Thank you. Yeah, I have done quite a bit, and I've been concentrating a lot on this fellow here for a long time. And you know how sometimes when you're on a particular area for such a long time and you're getting bored of that area, so as you can see, there's still a part of him that I haven't finished, but I just wanted to get away from him and I wanted to do all of this other stuff. What I really can't wait for is the skull. Oh, I just can't wait for the skull. Can't wait. Yeah, that's going to be, I'll be very interested in that. Can't wait. But even the Polychromos on that first layer is really, really nice. They're actually going on quite smoothly. And I'm trying to avoid I really am. I'm trying to avoid using mineral spirits, so it'll be just layers of coloured pencil. I do admit I have used it around this area for the face. I felt like I needed it, but that was me. All right. So anyway, yes. Ali says, Chrissy and Janice, have you tried Pois Belle Hélène? Okay, I haven't, because I don't know what it is. All you're making us is hungry. Okay, no, Janice says no, she hasn't. That's probably because they would eat in France more than in the area of Canada. There you go. Hang on a sec. There is a bit of brown in here, so I'm just going to start layering. This is really good. This is when I start to layer. And you know what? Your pencil doesn't have to be super sharp when you're doing something like this. I don't know how other artists like to work, but I mean relatively sharp and not pointy sharp. At the moment I'm just trying to cover some tooth and get a few layers in. Okay. Rob says, was just going to ask if you were going to use a pencil blend. Well, there you go. I'm avoiding it. Because normally what I do use is I do use a pencil blend. I use Zested coloured pencil blend normally, and if I don't have that, then I'll use an odorless mineral spirits. Whichever one I can get my hands on. It could be Gamsol, it could be Art Spectrum's odorless mineral spirits. Well, that's what we have in Australia anyway, but I know that in the US they've got the Mona Lisa, they've got other ones. Yeah, but anyone would suffice. Don't know if you could hear the birds in the background again. There's lots of animals going on in the background. Yeah. See, all I wanted to do here, Rob, is that I just wanted to see what kind of effect I could get when I just use coloured pencil. Okay, or mainly coloured pencil. So this is what I wanted to do. I just wanted to see if I could, what could I get away with if I just used that. See? Yeah. You know what? Sometimes people will say, for example, using a particular medium, what fascinates me the most is what artists can do with a medium. Like where do they take it? Like they take the medium beyond of what you would what it was originally made for. Do you know what I mean? This fascinates me a lot. The fact that, hang on, was it this one? No, it was this one. It fascinates me a lot. Yeah. So taking a medium beyond what it was made for. And that's where I suppose blending with colourless blenders, using different art surfaces, you know, people using coloured pencil on wood, and for me that is just amazing what they can achieve, on all the surfaces, using mediums, all kinds of mediums. this one needs to do this here. Yeah. Let me see. What kind of the paper brand you're using here? I'm using, Wendy, I'm using Stonehenge, not the paper in the pad. I'm using it in the sheets because they're available in both. I find that this is beautiful for a coloured pencil project, definitely. Rosemary says, I hear the birds. They sound so cool to me. Yes. Oh, okay. Hang on. I've missed a few here. Okay. Juliana says, can anyone suggest a good camera to use to take photos of art to get good prints? Please. And a printing computer. Gosh, no idea. Yeah, that's a whole new thing. I use my phone, to be honest. I've got a really good camera, a Canon, but I end up using my phone, to be honest. Okay, here we go. Sneak says, I use a Nikon cameras because I think their lenses are very hard to beat. Well, there you go. Not a printing computer, I meant printing company. Oh, okay. Well, with that, Jelena, I think that you should try a few. I think you should try a few. There are a few. I've tried Vistaprint. You know, remember those cards that I did? Those cards? I use Vistaprint. I would give them a go. See what they're like in the UK. Mine was Australia based, and I know that they're all over the world. I would use Vistaprint for printing, just to give it a go, because there's so many out there. Oh, look, there's so many. Jelena, okay, there we go. Abigail, try the mobile phone, because investing in a camera, you'll be surprised. Yep. Okay. Robin says, I wanted to go to Derwent. Oh, the best person here. Oh, we've got a few. Abigail she's an absolute shot with the camera, and everyone, Robin here is an absolute, she was, and please correct me, Rob, okay, Robin was in the army as a photographer. So she'd be the best person to ask. There you go, look, there she says, I was a professional photographer and have gone from Nikon to Sony A7 IV. As to what to recommend comes down to budget. See, there you go, the best answer. Okay, Robin says that, yeah, I took 5 days to drive there. I was so naive as to how far away it was. Oh, look, you know. Okay, and Abigail says, I have used Old Holland. It is so expensive. Oh, okay, hang on. Sorry. Okay. All right, well. And so's Janice. Janice is also, like, we've got Janice, Abigail and Robin here are the photo experts here. Absolutely. And Janice as well. All right, folks. Look, I think I've covered a little bit here. It doesn't look like much at the moment, but you know, what did I say? Slow and steady wins the race, as in the hare and the tortoise. Not a race. But I'm going slow and steady, all right? And I know that when I finish this, I'll be super proud of myself. I can tell. Feel it in my bones. Look, all right, everyone, thank you so much. It was very nice for you to keep me company. And for all of those watching this on the replay, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. You're all the best. Bye all. Thank you. And see you next time.